Before this video starts, I just want to really quickly say, this is not me taking down a company. I'm not here to defend the company either. All I want to do is express some of my concerns about the music industry and talk only about what has been factually said by a couple of different parties. I'm just saying this because I want to be clear, this is not an attack in any way, shape, or form. I just saw a story that I thought was worth looking into. We're doing a video that's a little bit serious. It's gonna get a little bit spicy. Let's make sure the lighting is on point. There we go. Serious. I've got my tea. I'm a little bit scared. It's just water. But let's pretend it's tea. First off, I really want to stress that this is not like a takedown piece. I'm not trying to attack anyone. I'm not trying to go after any businesses. I just want to talk about some of the controversy, I guess you'd call it. Modest Management is One Direction's management company. They've managed them like from the get-go for years. They also manage a bunch of other artists. One Direction fans have had a problem with them for literally years because of a whole bunch of reasons. Now, I want to start by saying there are so many reasons to criticize management companies and to criticize the music industry and labels. There is a lot, and I mean a lot, of shady stuff that goes on. It's not unique to Modest Management, and it's not even unique to the music industry, but the music industry is definitely rife with it. But in saying that, there's a bunch of stuff that's just like unsubstantiated claims. Personally, I do kind of take issue with those. I found lots of videos like this particular one. It's called Modest Management Exposed, Proof and Examples. And I was like, okay, proof and examples. Cool, this is a great place to start. Let's see why the fandom is angry. Turns out it's just like saying things. Like they say there's fake relationships and all of these were 100% proven wrong, but then like doesn't provide any proof. It just says these were fake. Fake relationships happen all the time in the entertainment industry. I think the most infamous example would be Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson. Producers tried to like smash them together as a couple because of the Twilight movies. One of the underlying reasons being that because she's bisexual, they didn't want her to seem too gay, which is obviously awful. If you're going to say these relationships are fake, and I honestly would and could believe it, give me some sort of proof. Because you're the one making the claim, you've got to provide some sort of proof. I also didn't like that they called Louis being a father a publicity stunt, as though like this kid isn't his. He has a kid called Freddie Rain Tomlinson. The kid is clearly real, and it's just weird to me to be like, no, because I don't believe he's his son, therefore he's not. Again, all of these are just completely unsubstantiated. And this video ends with this, just saying, case closed. And look, you might think that all of those things are true. Hell, they could be. The relationships might be fake. I would be extremely skeptical of Louis being a father being fake. That seems really strange to me. But the reason I wanted to open with that is because there are plenty of substantiated reasons to take issue with the music industry. You don't need those sorts of videos and those sorts of points. So let's dive into the way that One Direction was treated, because there's plenty of first-person accounts. I've spent at least like half of my life being somewhat in the entertainment industry. So when people say things like Modest Management dictated the way that One Direction led their lives, I am here like, absolutely 100% that happened, because that is what happens when people blow up the way One Direction did. Everyone, and I mean everyone, that is even slightly involved with that project tries to maximize its revenue potential no matter the costs. And those costs involve the mental health of those in the band. The first thing that is just like self-evident is the fact that at 16, Harry was set up to be a sex symbol. He's meant to be the womanizer, the one that breaks everyone's hearts. Again, despite the fact that he was 16, he was being publicly sexualized, and this image was created by the team around him. This, again, is sadly quite common. They gave everyone this personality, this brand, and they weren't allowed to control aspects of their lives, which is kind of crazy if you think about their ages. A bunch of young teenagers losing that much control is unhealthy. Liam had an interview with Jessie Ware from Table Manners where he expressed the extent to which their team would stretch their possibilities. The problem we had is they used to sell the tour before we'd written the album. So they'd sell the tour and be like, all right, we sold the stadiums. Just for a second, imagine being put in the situation where like hundreds of thousands of people have bought tickets to your shows to listen to songs that you haven't even written yet. You don't know whether they're amazing, which ones you like. You don't even know the energy you need for them. And then suddenly you have this tiny window in which you have to write the songs, sometimes even while touring. Oh, and you're also 16. The stress that would put on someone, I'm not even sure if I could handle that. And I have more experience in production than these boys did when they started. And that has massive effects on people. Just a really quick trigger warning, because I'm going to be talking about an eating disorder right now. I'll put a time code to when it's over, so if you want to skip past that, that's fine. This lack of control even led to Zayn developing an eating disorder. When I look back at images of myself from around November 2014, before the final tour, I can see how ill I was. Something I've never talked about in public before, but which I've come to terms with since leaving the band, is that I was suffering from an eating disorder. It wasn't as though I had any concerns about my weight or anything like that. I'd just go for days, sometimes 2 or 3 days straight, without eating anything at all. It got quite serious, although at the time I didn't recognize it for what it was. I think it was about control. I didn't feel like I had control over anything else in my life, but food was something I could control, so I did. I had lost so much weight, I had become ill. The workload and the pace of life on the road, put together with the pressures and strains of everything going on with the band, had badly affected my eating habits. Honestly, that breaks my heart, and I think even that is enough to make me angry at the way that the music industry sees people as products, as opposed to the music they create. I guess this is his point. Even his exit was choreographed. There was no breakdown. He can't even cite a low point, saying it was more a consistent, numbing, miserable flatline. Management took over the minutiae. Days were structured so that you didn't have time to think because you were concentrating so hard on work. I lost my bearings of what time it was, sometimes what day it was. Being worked that hard has a toll on you, no matter who you are. I don't work with a production company, with a label or anything like that. I'm just doing my own stuff, and that in itself is so stressful. I cannot imagine being put in a situation where someone has that much control over your life, over your image, and just what you do, especially when I was like 16, 17. Liam, on the other hand, leaned on alcohol. I used to get off stage and then you'd be that high off all the endorphins, whatever, get horrendously drunk, get up at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then do it all again. But we used to come off the stage because at the time, towards the end of it, we were that busy. It was like you would. We'd write the album in 2 weeks. In case you're not familiar, writing an album in 2 weeks is insane. Kind of no matter how big a team you have around you. If you worked every single day, even 12 hours, for the average album, it would mean that you would need to write a song every day. Hell, I worked with a studio for an EP, which had 2 other people writing and 1 other person producing, and it still took me like a month to get through 4 songs. People do seem to think that One Direction left Modest Management, although that doesn't seem to be the case. They still appear to be with them. I went and looked on their website. They're still listed under their artists. Might change upon a reunion, who knows? That said though, it does look like everyone left for their solo stuff other than Niall, who's just still with them and happily so, to the point that he's actually defended them quite heavily on Twitter. Someone asked why he was supporting Modest Management, and he said, because they're amazing. Why? The reply is, no, they're not. Based on what? Based on literally everything they've done to your own band, if you even remember that. Such as not being able to wear what you wanted, color your hair the way you wanted, to basically be yourself. Everything may not apply to you, but yeah. Niall replies, are you joking? And a bunch of laughing emojis. Then someone replied, we didn't make hashtag Let Niall Sing a trending topic back in 2013 for you to say this now. I want to say wholeheartedly that I understand why someone might feel badly towards a management company that might have caused issues with their favorite band, but personally I would discourage going after someone who's still signed to the management company about it, because if Niall is happy to be with them, despite anything that may or may not have happened, that's his right, that's his prerogative. And who knows how the company may have changed, or agreements might have changed over the last 6 or 7 years. It's entirely possible that the way they operate has changed now. Although I do want to bring up something recently, which is that 5 Seconds of Summer is also with Modest Management, and very recently, as in like 2 months ago, Michael Clifford was accused of sexual assault at a concert. Later, the accuser realized it actually wasn't Michael. It was a member of a different band that had played at the same venue, but people started questioning Modest and their values after 5 Seconds of Summer addressed this on their Twitter. We stand with all victims of sexual assault. Just because it wasn't us, it doesn't mean it didn't happen. We'll be working even harder to ensure fans are safe at our shows. Our connection with our fans is more important to us than anything in this world. Just before that, they tweeted, we are posting this against the advice of our team. We as a band didn't feel it was the right time for a tour announcement. We felt it was much more important to address false accusations first, but we were told not to comment. We are done being silent. Against the advice of our team. They should be showing their support, and they should be addressing the situation, even if it is against the advice of their team. This has stoked the fires with fans and Modest Management again, but I do want to make a quick caveat and say that their team may not mean Modest Management. It would be a reasonable assumption that their advice came from that management team, but there could be other people involved, other counsel involved, and other legal counsel involved. So there always can be more to the situation. The fact that everyone in One Direction has come out of all of this seemingly well adjusted is kind of a miracle, but it also shows that along the way, they clearly had some positive influence influences. But I think it's just important to note that not everything was bad and doom and gloom, and to realize that dealing with this problem is not just dealing with one management company. It is realizing the way that we treat celebrities, both in a personal and economic sense. People aren't products. People can make products, sure. If I make some music, obviously it's art, but in some ways that is still a product. But I don't think someone who makes art should be treated as a product, because that becomes dehumanizing, and that's when some people get easily blinded by financial potential. There have been multiple exposés in the past about boy bands like NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys, and the horrible, horrible treatment they endured. I want people to realize how deeply rooted this is. And also, please do not go attacking Modest Management or anyone that works for them or anyone that's signed to them. And I'm not saying anything is objectively true. I just wanted to bring to light some concerns that fans, maybe even you, have had for years. All right, with all that said, I just want to end this on a positive note. People think that Louis and Simon Cowell have some sort of bad blood. I don't think there's any real way that anyone can judge or say anything objectively on the matter. Let's just end this with a little laugh. I don't even need context.
Did you know 8 years ago today was the day that One Direction formed?
Funnily enough, I do. I was in the band, yeah, I do remember it very well. Yeah.
Make it sound more dramatic.
No, I didn't realise that,
yes,
Simon. Yeah, wow.
There is something about that wow. And I feel like everyone that's watching this video has at some point experienced something like that. Anyway, please let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to click that like button. And as always, have an awesome time until I see you next. See ya.